Today it's a great pleasure to welcome our new head groundsperson, David Jones, to Altrincham Football Club. David has started at the football club this morning officially. Welcome to Alti. I hope you have a great time here. First of all, David, tell us about your history in terms of being a groundsperson.
Yeah, so I left school, went to college, which was sort of different to doing ground stuff. I was doing sports coaching. A part-time opportunity came up at AFC Fylde, which I went to and started there. I then started to take a keen interest in it and sort of kicked on from there really, and then going full-time at Blackpool following there, where I was there for 2 years, just over 2 seasons, and then off I went to Bootle Football Club and then just went to the Welsh FA and obviously onto here now today.
So you started at AFC Fylde, a club very much on the up with a good budget behind them, fantastic facility. How did that go?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, it was a fair few years ago now, but the stadium's fantastic. The facilities are really, really good. So, I played a part in looking after the training ground, which is Kellerman Park, their old stadium, which they used to play at. So the lads still train there. So I was looking after that and assisting Dan Bunce, who was the head groundsman at the time, on a match day and the days leading up to the match day at Mill Farm Stadium. So it was really good. They had a good season that year as well. Just got beaten in the playoffs by Boreham Wood. So it was good to be around the club at that time, and they were doing really well.
And your time at Blackpool, I assume that was fairly interesting as well in terms of what was going on in terms of the ground and the development of the ground and the training facilities.
Yeah, so when I started at Blackpool, it was quite a difficult time because the club wasn't in a great place and the training facilities were quite poor at the time, and the equipment that you had to maintain the stuff as well was really poor. But following that, the ownership changed, and that was brilliant because it's a fantastic football club with really good supporters, and they deserve that because everything now is brilliant. The equipment's brilliant. The training ground's been redeveloped in terms of the pitches and some buildings around the place as well, and that's good. And I know the ground staff there now have got the tools to sort of do the job correctly. So I sort of had the last few months of that when the ownership changed, which was really good. And the first year or so was really challenging, but we just had to do the best that we could with what we had really.
And your first head groundsperson position was at Bootle, who were a club ambitious football club, very much on the up, and they had some pretty well state of the art pitch technology.
Yeah, so they got a hybrid carpet system pitch, which was a grant given by the Football Foundation, which was part of a FA pilot study, which was basically seeing if the carpet system could withstand the usage that an AstroTurf pitch could withstand, but still having that natural, playability that everyone wants to see every week, which is, football played on a grass pitch. So we were trying to get 20 to 25 hours a week on that, but just a bit of information on the carpet system is like 5% fibres with a backing onto it, and 95% grass. The idea is that the roots tangle round the bottom of the carpet, which gives some stability and some strength to the root as well, which should make it more withstanding to high usage training and high usage games. But Bootle's a really good football club. Really enjoyed my time there as well, and it was really challenging because how much we're trying to get out the pitch to stay in line with the business model and the pilot study, but also really good to work with that sort of level of pitch as well, and they got a great pitch out of it, irrigation, drainage, and obviously a carpet pitch as well.
And then a bit of a different experience working with the Welsh FA. I imagine the facilities there were outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Immaculate. I think the work that James, the head groundsperson's done there to turn the machinery around as well in the last 12 months, pretty much everything now is electric there. So the facilities are absolutely fantastic. The national side, men's side have used it. The women's side, the under-17s, under-18s, under-19s, it's a well-used site. But the equipment there is fantastic. Obviously makes it a joy to sort of, go in and do your job. And the pitches are absolutely brilliant. So that was a really good experience as well, and really enjoyed my time there.
And along for the last 6 years, you've also been involved at Manchester City, so experience at the Etihad Stadium and the complex there. Again, another string to your bow.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's good. I speak about keeping people around you that you can sort of speak to and rely on, when times get a little bit tough or you become come across a challenge, it's good to be able to pick up the phone to and speak to people. And I think being at Man City, you develop them relationships with not only the staff there, but also the people that do the casual work there as well. So that's really good to be able to rely on that. Obviously, really fantastic facility, great equipment, plenty changing there, and you also get to see some pretty good football as well, don't you? So yeah, it's not too bad at all.
I'm guessing you're not a Manchester City fan by the sound of your accent.
No, I'm not a Manchester City fan, no, but I don't mind Man City doing well. It's all right.
So you've joined Altrincham Football Club. What was the thinking behind that?
Sort of, when it came up, I looked at it and sort of looked into the pitch last season. And after speaking to the club, I've seen it as a sort of a challenge to try and let's provide the best playing surface we can. Obviously, looking into the way that the manager wants to play football as well. I know how important the pitch is going to be to that, and I see that as a challenge and a good opportunity for me to try and change that. Obviously, I know it's been difficult last year with the pitch, and it's not down to anyone. It's down to a number of different things, isn't it? But I see it as an opportunity of me trying to change that and make it the best that we can do all together.
And challenges for grounds people in football stadiums, pretty well the norm now these days. We've had our issues this season, but so have plenty of other teams in the National League, above the National League and below. So I'm guessing most grounds people have these sorts of challenges and are facing similar issues to what you're facing here. Yeah,
I think everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? It's just circumstances are different at different football clubs, but yeah, everyone's in the same boat. The weather has just been wet, hasn't it, all winter, so that's from non-league all the way to the top of the Premier League. Obviously, them top sides are equipped a little bit differently than other sides, but ultimately it's just been a difficult winter, and that's where it's, can you speak to people and can you work together and try and get through their moments together as well, because at the end of the day, all the ground staff across all the country have got one thing in mind, and that's to provide the best playing surface possible for their football club. And
first day, how have you found things so far?
It's been all right. It's been busy morning, so obviously I had a few chats with different people as well, and obviously the pitch work was done last week, so we're sort of working towards the sea popping soon, and we keep pushing that forward, and we've got quite a good space to sort of get the pitch ready, for pre-season, start of the season, that type of stuff. So just keep pushing it forward over the next few weeks, and I'm sure you'll be in and seeing the difference with the pitch over the next few weeks when it's the seed's popping and it's growing and we're pushing the pitch on and stuff like that, and it looks a bit like a beach now behind me, but it should start to look like a football pitch soon.
Whilst it does look like a beach, in many ways it's an ideal time for you to start.
Yeah, I see it as a bit of a fresh start. I think that was one of the key things when I spoke to the club about the role. It was impressive to see that they were willing to put the work in this summer to try and rectify the problems that they've had in the last 12 months or so. So that was important because it shows that the club are, trying to push and strive in the right direction with the pitch as well. And hopefully I can help and play my part with that. And I think, like you say, it's a fresh start, isn't it? And we can all, start together, clean slate sort of thing, and put our own mark on it.
So tell us, David, what were the problems that caused us so many issues last season with the pitch?
I think obviously I can only speak so much because I've not been here, but the problem was sort of in that top layer of the pitch. I know obviously people speak a lot about the drains and drainage work and stuff. The drainage work was done 3 summers ago, and is absolutely fine. We've had testing done on that. Cameras put up it, no problems at all. It's that top layer, and that top layer comes from broken down fertiliser, debris off football boots, being damp from a long time, just builds up that organic material, which then the water doesn't really get through as quick. It will still get through, but it takes a long time, which is obviously where you've sort of seen that surface water as well, which is also due to compaction in there as well. So they're things that we have to look at in terms of trying to get the top layer as clean as possible and keeping it as clean as possible. And that that's my job throughout the year, to try my best to do that. It's impossible to keep it absolutely clean because of it gets used, it's a football pitch, but we can try our best to keep that as clean as possible. And obviously the work that's been done this summer and the fantastic support by the people at the football club to allow that work to be done gives it the best chance possible. So we've took 20 mil off which is more than what's been done the last few summers. So that gets rid of all that organic material, allows us to put 210 fresh material on. So we put 210 tonne fresh material on, which gives us the best starting point possible to start the season off with a clean surface, and to allow the water to move through quickly and drain freely.
And there's plenty of work to do at every football club in the close season, and we spend a significant amount every season. But this year we're spending much more than normal, about 3 times as much as we would normally spend.
Yeah, which is sort of the norm across your football league clubs and stuff like that, which is just basically the basic renovation, but getting that full clean out. I mean, we've done a little bit more than that, but just that full clean out, which is so important, because what you've got to remember is if you're not cleaning it out fully, then you're also left starting the season with some of what you ended last season with, which sort of builds up in that top layer, which just doesn't let that water get through to the drains.
And any connections with Altrincham Football Club, or knowledge of the club in terms of its history?
No, not so much. I played here once. I played in a cup final here once. That's as much as it gets. But obviously, sort of track the progress. I'm into football, love football, so track the progress of them sort of winning promotion. Quite a lot over the last few years. That sort of brought them back up to this level, which is good to see, because it's a good football club. And like I say, I've looked into the way the manager wants to play, and I know how important the pitch behind me is going to be to try and play its part in that. And
tell us about your team that you've got here at Altrincham Football Club in terms of ground staff.
Yes, we've got the volunteers, haven't we? We've got a healthy group of volunteers that happy to come down and give a hand. So that's really helpful, because it just allows me to focus on some other things and them to take a bit of pressure off doing some work. So we've had a good group of them down this morning. I've seen a few of them over the last few weeks, when I've popped in to see things. So it's been really good. And they're really, really important. And I think you can't downplay how important they are, because they do allow you to focus on different things. They do take a bit of pressure off you as well. So really important. And anyone else out there who wanted to get involved in this side of stuff, then I'm sure they'd be made very welcome by the football club.
And one of them, Harry, who walked past us, said hello to us, came into the stadium this afternoon. He won the Club Person of the Year for last season. So great that one of your guys has won a trophy.
Yeah, he's told me a few times already, so I've only been here a few hours, but he has told me. No, but it's brilliant, isn't it? And he's worked his socks off all morning. To be fair, he's still working over there behind. So he's brilliant, and it's just great and good to have someone to chat to as well, isn't it? And share the workload, and I'm sure we'll find some jobs throughout the year that we can all crack on with together.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us today, David, and all the very best. I'm sure you'll enjoy your time at Altrincham Football Club. Some great people at the football club, and you've got a great team behind you, and I'm sure it's going to be nothing but success going forward.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. So.